Welcome to the Me series. Today's episode begins with a declaration that has become a boundary for my consciousness. I do not have to experience life through that perspective, outlook on life, or point of view. I do not have to do that because I am protecting my grace. Sometimes the greatest freedom isn't changing our circumstances, it's realizing we can change the perspective through which we experience them. Today, we're exploring what it means to protect our grace by becoming intentional about the lenses through which we view life. When we hear the word grace, we often think about forgiveness or receiving unearned favor from God. But I'd like to invite you to consider another dimension of grace. Grace is also an internal environment. It's the atmosphere in which your thoughts, emotions, and spirit exist. Some perspectives create an environment where peace can grow. Others create an atmosphere where fear, resentment, and hopelessness begin to take root. So the question becomes, what kind of environment am I creating within myself by the perspectives I repeatedly choose? One of the most liberating discoveries I've made is that not every perspective has to become my own. Someone may explain life through disappointment. Someone else may expect betrayal because that's what they've experienced. Culture may normalize fear. Past pain may encourage survival over living. I can honor another person's experience without adapting their perspective. Every perspective is an invitation, and wisdom reminds us that every invitation does not deserve acceptance. The event itself may never change, but your experience of that event often does. Perspective influences interpretation. Interpretation shapes emotion. Emotion influences behavior, and behavior affects the life we create. This doesn't mean we deny reality. It means we recognize that meaning is often created through the lens we bring to reality. The perspective we choose today can shape the experience we have tomorrow. People often say, protect your peace. I'd like to offer something that reaches even deeper. Protect your grace. Grace is where hope continues to live. It's where compassion survives difficult people. It's where creativity continues to flow after disappointment. It's where fate remains possible when certainty disappears. Not every perspective supports grace. Some slowly erode it. Protecting your grace means becoming intentional about what you repeatedly allow into your consciousness. Before accepting a perspective, pause long enough to ask better questions. Instead of asking only, is this true? Ask yourself, is this perspective helping me grow? Does it move me toward love? Does it increase clarity? Does it reflect the person I am growing into? Sometimes the most important conversation you'll ever have is the one happening inside your own mind. You're not required to accept betrayal. You're not required to assume failure. You're not required to prepare for disappointment every moment of your life. There's a difference between wisdom and fear. Wisdom prepares responsibility. Fear rehearses pain before it arrives. Protecting your grace means refusing to let fear become your default perspective. Grace isn't simply a feeling, it's also a boundary. Not every thought deserves access. Not every opinion deserves authority. Not every narrative deserves permanent residence in your mind. Protecting your grace means becoming the guardian of your consciousness, because what repeatedly enters your mind eventually begins shaping your life. Whenever life becomes difficult, we have a choice. We can ask, what if everything goes wrong? Or we can ask, what if there's another way to understand this? Choosing another lens isn't pretending problems don't exist. It's choosing a perspective that leaves room for wisdom, hope, compassion, learning, and possibility. Sometimes the healthiest perspective is simply the one that allows you to keep moving forward. As we close today's episode, I'd like to leave you with this reminder. You are not obligated to inherit every perspective you encounter. You are not required to interpret life through fear, resentment, hopelessness, or limitation. You have permission to choose differently. You have permission to choose the perspective that protects your grace. So today, say it with me one more time. I do not have to experience life through that perspective, outlook on life, or point of view. I do not have to do that because I am protecting my grace. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Me series. Until next time, continue protecting your grace because the perspective you choose today becomes the experience you live tomorrow.